Well, that's kind of nice. Oh, that's Pound Rock.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the regular meeting for the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation. My name is Jeff Angelo. I'm here along with Arnett Easley, Carol Langley, Dan Walker, Ryan Londine, and Casey Olson. Absent, at least at this point, is Wade Nelson, and we are going to get this meeting kicked off for tonight. I want to, first off, entertain, were there any public comments that needed to be addressed?
No, sir.
Anyone? None? Okay. All right. Well, is it okay if we just pop right into the agenda? Everybody ready? Yes, okay. Well, let's go. All right. So the first item on the agenda is consideration possible action on the regular meeting minutes of October 15th, 2024, and the special meeting minutes of November 7th, 2024. Does anybody have any comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay.
I would suggest maybe making these a little bit more brief. I don't think we need to have like it dictated. This is like pages and pages. I know we had a lot of discussion, but
Yeah.
it seems a little overkill and wasted effort.
I think what happened, you're right, I think what happened was we went too brief, and then we went not as
We
brief.
overcorrected.
Yeah, we overcorrected, yeah. So,
I've had to write these before, and I know it's painful and time consuming, and I don't think it's worth wasting people's time. I think we can keep it brief.
okay.
I don't know if that may not apply to city council. They may have a different, perspective, but I think for the EDC, I think we can keep it brief.
I would agree. I think we overcorrected. Who's responsible for the meetings? Is that you? No? You?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, Ms. Bevins, we're going to say,
I would like to suggest summary motion minutes. So it's a summary, it's not too brief, but it's not as in-depth as verbatim. And
Right.
then you're zeroing in on your motion made, because we also have the audio as backup.
okay?
I agree.
I think that's a
audio
good
as
idea.
backup And video recording, all that kind of stuff, I think we've got sufficient material.
So do we need to make a motion to just abbreviate the meetings minutes, or can we just say?
So I'll just move forward with
Okay, fantastic. Well, how about a motion to accept them, the meeting minutes the way they are?
I'll make a motion.
So Carol Langley has made the motion to accept the meetings, and Dan Walker has seconded the motion. This motion is amendable, debatable, but requires a majority of vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? So the motion carries, and we will approve the regular meeting minutes of October 15th, 2024, and the special meeting minutes of November 7th, 2024. Next on the item agenda, we have consideration possible action on awarding the rebranding initiative from among the bid proposals. And is it okay if I just kind of highlight what we've done here so if y'all recall, we were looking to create a branding initiative that sort of rebranded our logos for the entire city, along with merchandise that captured the trademark birthplace of the Montgomery flag, or birthplace of the Texas flag. And so I was tasked with the job of finding graphics group that could accommodate that. And so I put it in your agenda packet. I received 15 or 20 companies or graphic artist companies that wanted to participate. I chose the top 3 that I thought, or 4, that I thought would have give us the greatest opportunity. The one at the very top has actually done a phenomenal job with rebranding Round Rock, Texas. And if you look at the deck that we sent you, it shows, her capabilities. And so that's why I put her at the top. She also happens to be the most reasonable, but.
Is that the Aisha Ahmed?
Yes.
Yeah, Round Rock was nice. She did a nice job.
I thought so too. So I think all I really need is the go-ahead to, we have it in our budget to be able to accommodate, her bid, which is $1,500, I believe, but, it may run a little more, may run a little less, but I'd like a little leeway in case it gets in the weeds a little bit, but For the most part, I think we have the right person to do the job, and I believe, I mean, I don't know her personally, so I believe it's somebody that is, that will give us good work. She's got great ratings, and I've checked her background and all that good
So
stuff.
would you come back with a contract, I guess? Would that be the call?
Well, it is a contract, but I would, I mean,
Well, it would have to be a contract.
yeah, it has to be a contract, but, and they'll give me a contract, and then, do we really want to wait another month? Is this something that I could submit to our city secretary, and then we could look at it, or how would we do that? I mean, the contract is, we're kind of, I hate to wait 2 months to get something in front of everybody.
I would like to see what the scope and fee is, just to make sure we're on the same page as far as
Yeah.
what level of detail, what's our product that we're going to get. It wouldn't hurt to see that.
Okay.
Also, we would need to make sure that she can provide the file types that we require.
Yeah, it's all in the deck there. It shows everything that she provides.
Well-
Actually, everything in that deck is what she would provide, so it's,
Right.
but we would put it in
I
contract
think I would just
form.
like to see that in writing and then see what the final contract amount is. I don't mind waiting for that.
So I went through the deck, Jeff, and that's why I say that. She provides some great pictures and some great stuff, but we need to know
The
what
detail, yeah, okay.
what type of file. It's very specific, the digital files that we need.
Well, they'll be all Illustrator files, encapsulated PostScript.
You're not listening, please.
What are you saying? I don't know what you're
Can you
saying.
help, please? There are very specific types of files that we need, so that way they don't granulate, that you can use them.
That would be a vector file, Adobe Illustrator. Been doing graphics for 25 years.
And I think it's different for the social media, it's
Yeah.
just smaller, so it's.
Yeah, but she needs to be able to provide the right kinds, not just, I mean, I love what she did with Round Rock, but we need to make sure the product that we get is something that we can use, not just here's your file on a flash drive.
I'm very familiar with what you're asking, okay? I got it.
What will be the timeline as
Put it in
far
front of
as
us.
the finished product?
It will only be, it will take a few weeks. So if you like what we can do, do we want to get the contract and how would we do that?
Where is she located?
She's located in the United States somewhere? I don't know. I mean, this is a company that this is a group of artists that work kind of like Fiverr, but more upscale. Is it?
Yeah, we need to see a contract.
Okay, so if we get the contract, do we want to put it on next
Yes.
Yeah.
meeting's agenda? Would that be fine? Okay. All right, so then,
I guess,
Well, shoot it out too, so we can see it, we can study it.
I'll get it beforehand, get it to you beforehand, yeah.
I don't know how to, I think, I'll make a motion to allow Jeff Angela to negotiate a contract with the Aisha Ahmed, no final signature and bring it back to vote at the next MEDC meeting.
A second?
Okay, so it's been motioned by Ryan Lundin that I have the authority to negotiate a contract with Aisha Ahmed for a graphics package contract that will be reviewed at our next meeting and to determine if we want to push forward on that. And it's been seconded by Arnett Easley. So this motion is amendable, debatable, but it requires a majority of vote. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? So the motion carries. And we will, let me make a note real quick here. All right, fantastic. Item number 3, consideration possible action on a grant application on behalf of Lily Powell for the Montgomery cleanup project. Let me just, that's Lily. Hi, Lily.
Hi, Lily.
You know what, Lily, I'm just going to let you do the talking, and then I'll share some of the back and forth that we've had. But are you okay with that? Lily's a high school student who, I'll just kind of foam the runway a little bit, who came up with the idea that there were several areas in our city that needed some cleanup. And she asked if she could put together a group of volunteers. Arnett Easley has been helpful in helping us acquire some of these volunteers as well. And they want to pick one day and go out in several areas of the city and pick up trash and anything else that looks bad. Is that correct? Something like that? Okay. And so she's asking for a little support. We're going to get T-shirts for all the volunteers and get some community effort going, but I'll leave it to you to kind of describe exactly what it is.
Okay, so,
If you can, just stand up to the podium right there. There you go.
I'm so nervous, I've never done anything like this before. Recently, I have started driving, and as I've been paying more attention to the roads, I've noticed an abundance of garbage on the roads. And as a person who cares deeply about the environment and the flora and fauna of the entire world, it truly breaks my heart. And I began to think to myself, well, if someone else doesn't do this, then who is? Who's going to take the first step? So I decided to take the first step in organizing an event in Montgomery on January 11th that would take volunteers from all over the city to clean up different areas of the town. And I am currently working on finding more volunteers, and I'm still working on some of the finer details of the event as a whole. But I would like to ask for a grant for permission to fund the event.
Lily, didn't you tell me that your mom owns a T-shirt company?
Yes, she designs t-shirts, and she would be able to print the designs onto t-shirts, given that the t-shirts were already provided.
So I helped her out with the logo, and then she took it to her mom, and we put it on some of the T-shirts to show what it would look like. But her mom's agreed to do it at cost, and I just applaud you 17 years old?
Yes.
17-year-old who wants to take her community seriously and do something special for the community out of the goodness of her heart. Most 17-year-olds are playing sports or are probably studying, trying to get ready for college, but you're taking an active participant's role in helping our community in a way that even us adults probably should spend more time doing. But so that's my 2 cents for what it's worth. And anybody else have any questions for Lily?
What's the grant total?
I believe it was $600.
But she's asking for a third of that.
200?
Yeah,
Yes.
200.
Who's the money going to? Is that going to you? Or
Yes,
should
but it would go
does it need to
into
go- Does it need, sorry.
It would go into funding for what we would need, so garbage bags, safety vests, and gloves as well.
I just don't know, is it a problem to be granting money to an individual versus a company or nonprofit? I don't know.
I don't, I mean, we've,
I know it's a technicality, but.
yeah, I mean, you're talking very small amount of money and a very small amount of, I mean, we'll make sure that the project gets pulled off, and we're also going to try to get some volunteers, sponsorships too. We've talked about maybe bringing in either gyms, which Jim's would probably be helpful. Maybe he could give us some of these items at cost. Carol, you know Jim.
Yeah.
And some of our local Montgomery stores to maybe participate.
Well, since I'm a part of it, my nonprofit, Montgomery County United, you could do that since I'm a part of it versus the individual.
So
Yeah, that might be cleaner. I just
Yeah.
don't know, if we don't know the answer to that, it might just be cleaner to go to a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And then you can.
so then he could help fund it, yeah.
Yeah.
They just bill you.
I mean, we've got plenty of budget money for,
For blight and different cleanup, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't mind funding it, I just want to make sure we do it in the right way.
So that's the other, my other question is, that's a good question. If we didn't have a nonprofit, could they just bill us MEDC directly?
I suppose.
I really don't know the answer to that. Well, why don't we just motion to go through Arnett's?
I mean, is that a question, Carol? Can they just bill us EDC directly for blight removal? Without having to do a grant?
It's usually a company that's doing the
The
The work.
service provided.
that would bill us. So if Arnett will fill out the application in the morning, then I don't know what else we would need. Yes, Chief?
4B is kind of strict on these things, so let us check with the attorney first thing in the morning, and then we'll let you know. Because we may be able just to give it to her, or her organization, But we'll check first thing in the morning, let you know.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty strict on those.
So could we approve the grant request based on the attorney's advice?
Because the grant is different than spending money for purchasing
Right.
stuff. So the grant is allowable. I just don't know our
So maybe this is-
rules on the
I
grant.
think you can approve the grant on the contingents of the attorney's feedback.
Attorney's approval? Okay.
So,
How much is she looking for?
Not much.
just like two, I'm just making sure. we're not-
$200.
I'll pay $300.
I'm not saying
We don't want to
spend
make
the
sure
money.
we don't get our hands in pennies, right? Or
Yeah.
something silly.
And I
Yeah,
want to keep everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go with that.
Okay, so do we want to make a motion then?
So I'll make a motion to approve the grant funding contingent of lawyer
Approval?
approval, yeah.
I'll second his motion.
Okay, so Casey Olson has made a motion to approve the grant based on our attorneys giving approval for the way the grant is to be handed out, since it's not a company, but we'll do it whichever way, he said. And it's been seconded by Dan Walker, and it's amendable, debatable, but requires majority vote. All those in favor? Okay, all those opposed? All right, so that grant request has been approved based on, and you did a good job.
Thank you.
And I know you're nervous, but guess what? This is the hardest it's ever going to be, okay? All right? And as you go through your life and you continue to do remarkable things, it'll get easier and easier and easier. But you should be applauded for your effort, and I'm grateful. And I'll be right beside you to help you, and so will Arnett, as well as many of these other board members, okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lily. Now go home and get your homework done.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so the next item on our agenda is consideration and possible action on suggestions and ideas to enhance and add value to the Light Up the Park event, and that brings up Miss Stephanie Johnson. Sorry, that's probably not good for the microphone, right?
Thank you. Light up the park. Can you stand up?
Why
I
not?
think it's hard to hear.
We need to hear you on the microphone.
Recording and the live stream, but if you're not the
What
podium.
was that?
It's hard to hear on the recording and the live stream if you're not the podium.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so Light Up the Park, December the 7th. That was a great event. Overall, I think the event was a success. Looking at all the creativity and hard work that went into everyone's decorative poll that they did, I think is a great idea. What I would like to do next year is plan ahead and maybe do the Light Up the Park, Light Up the Town, all in one. Like it's the businesses, it's the residents, and it's the park. So make that all come alive in one event. Really get people participating and registering beforehand would make it much easier on the judging process. Even though we are 5 square miles, it's just a little time consuming to drive around. So if everyone registered prior to, we would know exactly where to go. I think it would make it a little more fair for all. Couple of things that happened. A huge thank you to HEB for providing the Christmas decor and kid activity section. That was really good. The kids really enjoyed those kits that Home Depot provided. And of course, they gave out hot cocoa and cookies to all that attended. So really want to thank them for that. And hopefully we'll have them back next year. And Home Depot really went above and beyond with the decor. They loaned us some of their big decorative, like nutcrackers, soldier kind of, some presents, a Christmas tree. It really made that event spectacular, I think. So moving forward, I would like to do bigger, if at all possible. And maybe we could get Public Works to really do some decorating downtown. They do a great job at decorating the park and around town, but I think I think we could do a little bit more and really light up the town. I'd like to see all of downtown lit up, so.
I love
That's my
light up the
wish.
town. Why just do the park? Let's get the whole town lit up, right?
Yes,
And it's a great
definitely.
name, Light Up the Town. I mean, it's perfect for a small community like this.
Yes, and so I guess since we're on the subject of Christmas, I would like to move forward and just kind of theme Christmas in Montgomery, because there's a lot of different names for all of the events, you know,
Right.
historic Christmas, Christmas in Montgomery. We need to brand it and stick to that every year so everyone knows. We are known as the historic Montgomery, right? Is that
Right.
correct? So then our event name should be like Christmas Parade. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Instead of Historic Christmas Parade in historic Montgomery, Texas. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's the branding and kind of like the tag to our event. So what I would like to do is Christmas in Montgomery and have the light up, well, I don't think I can do light up the park, the Christmas parade the next day, and the snow party that evening, but ideally, I would like to do it all in one weekend if possible.
Right.
So we
It
may
used
need
to be
talk about
done
that.
in one weekend.
Oh, really?
Yes.
This year's spread out too much.
Yeah,
Can't make
it's-
it all.
Yeah, people are really busy, and there's a lot of other great events going on in our
I
community.
think the
And
snow party got too late.
is what-
Yeah,
think
it's
we got
right.
too late
It's
on the
next
snow party.
Saturday. Yeah.
We tried to push them together and it didn't work schedule-wise.
Yeah, so,
Well, I think you're right, and really having someone, at the helm that can pull that off is really important. You've done such a spectacular job. I tell her all the time, she's drinking through a fire hose. I mean, Stephanie took this job, like 4 weeks before the event? I mean, 5 weeks, maybe?
October the 23rd.
Okay, so, you're talking about 6 weeks of nonstop, never-ending, having to get up to speed and to pull it off, and it absolutely went off without a hitch. Thank you, Lord, for no rain just during the parade. That was awesome. Somebody had a really good connection, Arnett. Good job. Anyway, but, tell the directors about the budget and what was spent.
So for the Light Up the Park, the budget was $4,400. Out of that, I had $2,710 in expenses, and with an estimated remaining $1,689.
Awesome. Well, next month, I talked with you, and next month we're going to have a comprehensive debrief that will have all the numbers and all the, everything basically that we need to step it up a notch, and we're going to get started early in January. Is that what the goal is?
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know what, looking in the storage for all the events, there is no decor.
Really?
There's not any decor
Okay.
for any events. And, moving forward, once we get our logo, I'd like to get some branded table covers that
Right.
have our city logo on it.
Right.
They're black, they look really good in the photos.
Yep.
And a branded sign, a tall sign that has our city logo on it.
Well, and
It's
by
a place
doing-
for pictures.
But we talked about creating a project list. We can work backwards from that. We can have everything from press releases to all the major publications to let them know about Christmas in Montgomery, about, Light Up the Town, about all these different initiatives, so that we fill the city with new residents and old residents that can partake in some of the gift shops, as well as the restaurants and other hotels and whatever, but B&Bs in the area. So I think it's a fantastic start if we get started early. Don't
Sounds
you?
good.
Yeah?
I'd
Have it ready
also
for you.
like to continue to try to work, I say this every year, to work with the Historic Society on the historic home tour. They just have a really hard time marketing that, and the dates and time, or the times change, and there's conflicting information, and it's just kind of a huge mess. And I think this, I know they don't really want to work with the city, but I would just say
Yes,
continue to try.
They're
to-
changing. They're ready to
Okay.
work with the city.
Okay.
They just have never realized who they needed to work with. And every one of them that I talked to Saturday, I gave them Stephanie's name,
Okay,
so.
good, so maybe there's a turn.
I had
Yeah,
a
I
call
think
last
so.
week from a lady, she's a new volunteer, and she wanted me to help her kind of market a way to promote that. And I have a lot of ideas, but honestly, there's a lot of things that need to be corrected before you move forward. And it's starting with the website, it's starting with the social media, it all has to be the same across the board.
Right.
And the little handout that they gave out this weekend,
Yeah. Yeah, it's dated. Everything we have is dated
But
right now.
what was wrong with the handout?
well, it's old font, it's blurry font, it's not clear, I don't think, and it's just a
The
reflection of the city.
handout that's right here on the,
I'm not sure, I just saw them making
about the
copies of it, like a lot of copies of it. I just think it should be cleaned up a little
they go
bit
to
and
a
nice, but
printer.
I'll be more than happy to help them with
they
that,
go to a
absolutely.
printer and have that
You're talking
flyer.
about the brochures that they do, yeah, but not the ones that they were just running copies off of.
Yeah, this
I
was
don't
like
know.
7 pages or something like that. And some of it was like not aligned on the paper.
Maybe what
So I
we
don't know
should
if they
do is
hand
just
that out.
work with the Historic Society and come up with a, a brand that suits them and the city that we can all work together under,
The problem is I think they've been wary of the city taking over. And I don't want to give that impression that we're taking over their stuff. And I think that's why there's always been conflict there. But I think it sounds like maybe they're open to working. So I would kind of think about it with that lens of like, we're here to help you and us be on the same page so we can help market each other, I think. So I would just think about it from that perspective.
Yes, I'm definitely open and,
Otherwise,
happy
we'll
to bridge that gap of anything that's happened before and moving forward. I think we should all work together. We
Ryan,
all have the same
part of
cause.
that is that guys like us that are in a historical society or in Carroll, we should come together and help bridge that gap and let them know that we're not here to take.
I've kind of tried, but there's still it seems like there's always been a little bit of hesitation there. So, and I say that because if they pull back, then you're going to be another couple of years of flyers that don't match and look in disagreement with what's going on in the city. So I'm just saying, if there is a opportunity there, then let's go at it kind of gently and make sure that.
Maybe we set up a meeting with them where we can all maybe jump in the conference room for an hour and just talk about possibilities. That would be a start. And if everybody's here to help, then they realize that we're not trying to take anything. Look, the last thing we want to do is take one more thing over, right? Am I singing to the choir?
It'd be easy if you had links through our website, links over to there.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. We've already talked about the website.
I
needs
think
a
there's
complete
already
rehaul.
something like that in place. And I just need a little time to look through everything
Yeah.
and just,
Digest it.
I need to know what they have, what do they have Facebook pages? There's just a lot. But I'm more than happy to help them out in any way that I can.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, anything else to add, Stephanie? Anybody want to have any
Well, I
comment?
think the help will come, got to be a collaborative effort, but I think if we approach them and ask them, what can we do to help you?
Right.
I think that's the best way to approach it. If they give us an idea, then we can tell them what we think about the idea.
That sounds great, and I would like to encourage you guys, the Board of Directors, to assist me on that, because you guys are from here, you have this history, you know the history much better than I do. I can help them put it together and promote it, but really getting the facts and the history information, I'd like to lean on you guys for some direction on that.
Well, I can coordinate with B. That's the one she's the one I've worked with before, and see if she's open. She manages the website.
Oh, that's right,
She uses somebody to manage the website, so.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
B.
I
Rouse.
actually created.
Yes, I know who she is. I've
I
met with her
helped
several
create
times.
the
Nice
website,
lady.
And then I just got busy, so I wasn't able to manage it, so it's part of it. But
And there we go.
And that's what
she had
happened.
someone else who took it over.
Just stopped right there.
No, she had someone else take it over, but it's not really been managed that well. But maybe that's something that we can help them with.
Yeah, let's
I
get a
don't know.
meeting
I don't know.
with
I don't
B.
know if
That would be
it'll
fun.
work.
She's super sweet. Yeah, we'll definitely be able to work with her. know her very well, so that's great.
Just let me know.
Okay, that's good. Well, we'll kind of let you spearhead that, okay? Sometime in January, maybe. We'll just send a note out to her and say we're trying to find a date that'll work for everybody. Ryan's got a full-time job, and I'm free or relatively cheap for the most part, so you can get me when, just about any time. But just check and see what Ryan's schedule is, and then B as well.
Okay, so where did the request come from? Like, was it from B that talked to you about it, or was it someone else?
I bring it up every year.
Oh, it's something that you bring up. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I would like to
He's
have-
on the historical tour.
Yeah, so I see
Ah,
firsthand,
okay.
so a lot of the issues.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it could be marketed well, it's something that people love, but it's just not. I don't
Yeah,
think
no, I
We
understand.
can coordinate better, we will. Now that we can coordinate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay?
All right.
All right.
The item said consideration and possible action.
Well,
So
suggestions and ideas.
Was there anything that you needed action on?
Stephanie,
Is
was
the
there
budget
anything that you
being-
needed action on right now? Or are you okay with where we are? So, we're good.
Okay, well, she made suggestions on branding per se. It's
Right.
like, you know, Christmas and.
Well, the website, branding, she's got a whole list of suggestions that's in the deck. So maybe we just look at that and,
Yeah, can I comment on that?
yeah, of course.
So I know that there's some Facebook, there's some website design stuff that you had asked me to look into. And I think, just talking to the chief about it, that we, admin, our different departments need to come together and meet and see who's doing what, who's managing, who's posting, and kind of get our schedule together, and then go from there on that. But if you are going to possibly outsource something, there's a possibility that that company, if it's a one-stop shop, kind of does it all.
And that's what I was recommending, that we get a professional web developing company, not just an individual, but somebody who actually, can manage our social media, all of our events, and can put them on a roadmap, so that we know well in advance everything that's going on, and when all these things can be pre-planned and launched on the date that we schedule them. But having a company to do that would be really, really good. Maybe.
That came up before and it was kind of shot down because they didn't want, I guess, maybe it was Becky who was like doing the managing it, and she wanted to have control over the historic stuff that's posted.
So-
that was why we pushed back before. I don't think that's
Well,
necessarily.
even with the management company, they're going to input what we give them.
Yeah, well, we'll have final say, so either Stephanie or whoever she designates would have final say over who and what gets posted online. So I think it's important, though, that, that they're under contract and that there's guidelines and that they can and can't do. But right now, there's no telling how many people have their hands in the cookie jar. I mean, it's really been kind of managed by individuals, which is kind of scary when you think about it.
Well, several different individuals, so the message gets lost, and sometimes they're too long, or I just think it needs to be streamlined. There's maybe like 10 or 12 event pages. If you go to the website and you click on a link, it could take you to an event in 2022. It could take you to an event into the.
So you have broken links,
This is a full-time job for someone.
Right.
Social media, marketing, communication is a full-time job for someone. Having a background in technical writing makes a big difference on your website. If someone like myself writes something and then a creative writer puts a spin on it, it changes everything, and it just looks very nice and very professional.
Having something,
And I have a little bit of,
this would be the website too.
yes, so they would
Yes.
streamline everything. And I don't know that they would have to always manage the website. That might be just something for like a makeover. And then once it's all done, I'm sure we would have something in place for maybe Ruby or someone to do the updates as needed, or update the events as needed.
Ruby, can I ask you a question?
may.
Is that something that the city secretary typically does, or?
Yes, for the size city, yes.
Okay, for the site city. So then would we just be looking at maybe with our overall branding, rebranding initiative, then which platform do you work in? Is it Squarespace or what form?
I'm not sure, are we with Civic Plus for our website?
Yes.
Are we? Okay.
Who,
Civic Plus.
Mary Ann, who are we with?
Civic Plus.
Civic Plus, okay. So.
So that'll probably be good. I mean, I think in the past, maybe it was a couple of different people doing it. So, there's a couple of brochures of downtown businesses that's on there that needs to be corrected.
So what you're saying, so maybe we give to Civic Plus our rebranding initiative and then see what it would take to clean it up a little bit so that it's all, is that the kind of way?
Reach out to them for that.
Okay. All right, well,
That sounds great.
let's do,
If we can start with something that's right and then pick it up from there.
Yeah, agree.
That's a lot easier.
Totally agree, yeah.
than trying
Yeah,
to
and
jump
moving
around
around
somebody's
things, so it's
page,
very
fix this
easy
mess.
for people to register for events, because right now, the only way for people to register is to register on Facebook if they can find the link, and they'll have to scroll down. There's not an easy way for people to register for any of the events,
Right.
honestly.
I can't imagine what was the name of that again, Civic?
Civic Plus.
Civic Plus.
Yeah, and you could just change the icons, like events, instead of going to tourism to get to events. I mean, it's things like that.
Making it easy
It's
to
probably an
navigate.
easy fix.
Yeah.
It just needs,
Do
it needs
we need
attention.
someone just to review our website and make suggestions for our secretary? Or is that, like, someone can just go through and not change the website, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
when we talk about websites, we talk about how many different ones we've got here.
We have 2 different ones.
Because police has got theirs, city's got theirs, and we're gonna have a meeting to kind of bring that all together and take a look at what we've got, and then what we need for each, for like you guys, what are we gonna need for police, what are we gonna need for the city? And once we have that discussion, that'll give us a chance to boil all that stuff down and then take a look at it, so.
So that's happening, that's in the works right now.
Big part-
That's in the works right now?
Yeah, we like she said, we spoke about that.
Okay.
Because that was one of the first things she noticed when she got here a couple weeks ago, was that all these different websites.
Yeah, and you think about it, Chief, once we clean it up, I mean, for anybody that comes after us, it'll be a lot easier for them to operate under something that's already got a clean format, maybe with some rules and how things should be, when they should be, how they should, I mean, you just need a little bit of guidance. Here's the thing, up to now, we haven't really been very fastidious about doing things the way they should be when it comes to social media and websites, but this is a great opportunity to have somebody that can come in and help us really.
Maybe the company we're with now, maybe they can't meet those needs. We need to take a look at that as well.
Ah, that's a good idea, yeah.
Take a look at that, and then we'll go with whatever we need to make it better. So we'll look at it.
Okay,
I know
sounds good.
Stephanie and I have already spoken about sitting down, and if she can just show me what pages, what sites, what she needs, I'm able to go in and edit most of it. I'm familiar with doing some of it, not to the complete depth for the rebranding you're wanting, but I can modify a lot of the web pages
Okay,
or the website. But I was already on the idea of talking with OCS to see if they have access to our website to do some of the more in-depth stuff that I want to do, because I plan on changing my city secretary page. I plan on having more information for my election stuff, because there's stuff that we are legally to have posted that's not on there. So I've got to work on developing that, and I came across a roadblock on trying to do that, so I'm going to have to get some help. So
good.
we're all kind of on the same page right now.
OCS is a great company. I mean, anytime we've needed something from them, they've been very forthcoming, and so we got some good partnerships already, so that's exciting. All right, well, we'll wait and see where you guys land after you've met and decided where you want to go.
Can you also look at the EDC site? I think information's wrong on there as far as when we meet and all that kind of stuff, so I just saw that today.
Boy, yeah. It's funny, you make one change and there's a lot of places you got to change it. I know I run into that myself. Okay, all right, are we okay to, that was just a discussion, is it okay to table that now? We can move on? Okay, so now we're going to, this is Ryan's favorite subject. Item number 5, discussion of McCowan Street infrastructure and the new construction development. So when we left off, we we were ready to go forward on the construction, but we were waiting for information on infrastructure, I think, that had to be put in, city sewer, right, Ryan?
Yeah, and so I think Chris will be able to
Chris, thank
kinda
you.
give
If you
us
can
an
give us an update on that.
there's drainage, there was utility work that all was kind of waiting, we were waiting on to understand better what's going on under the ground before we started changing what's on top of the ground, and I think we're all kind of confused about where,
I think we're still all kind of confused because
Okay.
the utility plans have been waiting on the above ground for final placement of inlets, et cetera. And so kind of the three pieces to it. So the drainage study, that was completed in October of 2023 and was provided over to staff and presumably over to Ardura. That started out as, they switched names up.
I don't remember either.
That was provided back in October of '23. The water line, the sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, those lines were televised in 2021. The rehabilitation of all those lines in downtown, so everything from 149 to Prairie, Klepper to 105, so the whole downtown area, that was completed in 2023. So the sewer line work was done. The water line replacement plans went to a 90% phase, and they were put on hold, waiting on the streetscape improvements for final placement of, we don't want to put a hydrant in front of wherever the streetscape project came back, and this is a parking spot, et cetera. So they were pretty well wrapped up and done, minus the final placement of some of the above ground stuff to go in connection with the streetscape project. So where our understanding, and we weren't communicating with Ardura, that was generally through the planning and development side, was we were waiting on a final design of the streetscape to finish the water line plans, and then the coordination of the two, because we didn't want to replace the water lines and tear everything up, fix it, and then the streetscape comes in and tear everything up. We'd rather do that right on top of each other, so we're not paying to repair stuff twice.
So it sounds like we're waiting on Ardura, because I say Ardura, is that right? That seems, but they're actually waiting on us, so it's kind of lost there.
So I think it's just, we need to regroup. with
Yeah.
them.
So the last thing I seen, they presented something, I can't remember if it was here to council or came from here and went to council about a chunk of one-way street,
Yeah.
right?
And I thought we made a decision on
Carol,
that.
do you remember, did that come to council? And we
It came to
voted
the
it down?
EDC.
I thought I seen it here.
It came here, and I think
It
we made a
came here.
decision
Right.
There-
on what
yeah,
we
the-
wanted.
That's what I remember as well. It was all about either, there's two spots. It was McCowan closer to 105, what happened there, and then McCowan by the steakhouse.
Yeah, right in the middle, there was a little section.
Those two areas were the question marks.
So I
The
think,
one way was to basically create sitting areas or to
Right.
more scape out on the side,
The
okay.
other problem is that original streetscape that Dur presented, you had through traffic going beside the steakhouse. And
Oh,
this-
yeah, through his parking lot
Right, and
primarily.
the steakhouse owner nixed that.
Right.
So we had to like,
So-
okay, we gotta come up with something else, right? And we haven't.
so it's basically stalled, and I think we just need to regroup.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know who needs to lead the effort, if that's someone on here, or you, or Chief Solomon, but it would be good to
Yeah, I
regroup.
mean, I think that especially since, the coordination between the utility plans and the streetscape plans needs to happen anyway.
Can you guys communicate directly instead of
100%.
Can you include
middle
me
person?
too?
That'd be much
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's my
we can take a
alley.
lead
Yeah,
on-
there you go, absolutely.
so I would like to be included on that, so. I just felt, it seemed like we were just being told it was waiting on drainage utilities, and I was like, well, that's been going on forever.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why, and I'm glad you reached out, because, again, we were kind of accessory on the side, because I think the water line plans, we probably haven't touched those in at least a
That'd
year.
be-
I think EDC, didn't we agree on the one-way?
Yeah, I thought we did, so it
has
shouldn't
that-
be held up
That needs
on
to be
that.
brought to council
And
for.
maybe there was a
obviously to get that
disconnect
I could have
okay,
swore we
get this
looked
thing
at it
going,
in
right?
council and it got voted down, but I don't remember.
well, we just need to figure that out. Why would it come to council? Why would it come to council?
Because you're changing the street, that has to be approved.
Carol, you don't remember it came in front of council?
It has not. I'm not voting for it.
I remember we talked about it here.
Carol doesn't want a one-way street.
I'm not doing a one-way street downtown Montgomery.
Well, we need to make a decision. We can't just say no one-way street, so we're not gonna improve McAllen. We need to figure out something. So,
I just told you my answer. you make your motion.
Just want to regroup.
Send it
Yeah,
to
for sure.
council.
So we'll reach out. I'll get with chief and we'll go through, just make sure what the latest contact information is, because I know they've switched PMs on their side as well. And then we'll get something set up, include you, Ryan. And then I think ultimately what it sounds like is, one, just a regroup on the schedule, and two, what are our options of layout? What's the two-way option, what's the one-way option, and come back so we can move it forward. Because I really think that's really the main thing kind of pulling this up. Is that
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just wanted to mention, because KKC is going to have that downtown development ordinance, interim ordinance. So I don't know if we want to incorporate what KKC is proposing
That's a good point.
for that downtown ordinance.
I'm trying to think how those two will relate. So y'all, yes, it was a joint meeting. So y'all, everyone here, or at least most of y'all, I think, heard, the downtown development district that also put the building regulations in to mix up materials, as well as one thing that we clarified. We had a call with them earlier today that just make sure everyone was clear on it. The downtown development district is the zone, and the historical is still the overlay. So you still have the architectural historical control historic district that sits on top of the downtown development district. And that can be extended beyond, it's not tied to the historic. So if you want to include that on the south side of 105, up and down 149 to include some of those.
But one
We
of
can
the,
definitely have that conversation with them to see how those two align.
I don't know if there really is a whole, I mean, we can have full control over what's going on in the street. We just need to make sure there's cohesion there with what they plan to do in the future.
well, I think
But
they mentioned
with
sidewalks.
building ordinances, and sidewalks and stuff like
Right,
that.
and the sidewalks.
I mean, mandatory
Because downtown's kind of it's non-traditional. I think, obviously new development, sidewalks, et cetera, downtown, it's not a one-size-fits-all. Every street's a little different. We have, some buildings that are right up on, some that
Right.
are offset. So I think that's really what Ardura was doing, was that, especially, from the Cowan area right there, is what is the landscaping, what is the sidewalks, what is the sitting areas, what is all that.
Yeah.
And then you move over to the TechStot project, ultimately, that's 149, and then expanding beyond that to go to Klepper or Pond or whichever direction it goes. But
Well, and there's also Retail Strategies who's helping us do streetscapes as well.
But I think they went pretty far already as far as laying out the layout of sidewalks and landscaping.
Yeah, it's way past
Yeah,
just.
and I think it was also something we were happy with, and it was following the downtown master plan. So I
Right.
think we've got a good plan, it just needs to get over the finish line. And I guess maybe we need to coordinate with the other maybe they need to have input, maybe they don't, I don't
Who's
know.
that?
But the ordinance.
yeah, well,
company, but-
we're on we had a call with them earlier. We now have constant communication with them, so we'll just mention it, see if there's anything that would needs to be considered on that side.
Yeah.
I'm not coming off Isabel.
Yeah.
One question: when's the last time y'all remember seeing an estimate from Ardura on the construction cost?
It's been a long time,
time.
3 months minimum,
Oh, it's
maybe more. Yeah.
That's why I've been here.
Okay. We'll ask about that as well, because obviously we need to go back and look at funding. What is the project? Because I know.
It was very preliminary when we saw it.
The original budget inside, I think this was a massive, multi-million-dollar project.
Right.
Where we are today.
We just want to get something done,
Right.
and that's the thing we chose to get done first, so.
Well, it was the thing that we could get done because we basically control that more so than TechStot and everything else.
Exactly, because you don't have to go through test shot
Right.
for it, yeah. So we're ready to rock and roll as soon as we can find somebody to push it along for us.
We will follow up with them, and we'll include the chief and Tilly and you, Ryan, and we'll let you know what we find out.
Okay. So
So
maybe,
is it all right if we set up at just interpreting direction? So because obviously you have some time for your next meeting, if you're able to get together information, to just have a meeting, include Ryan with
Sure.
that, to keep it moving forward so we don't wait another meeting.
totally agree, yeah. Is that good? Everybody okay with that? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. So next item is consideration of possible action on the status of the wayfinding signs. I don't know if anybody knows anything about the wayfinding signs anymore.
So we put this on pause because of the cost They come back and that big sign out there is gonna be like
Yeah.
$100,000 or some craziness. And because we wanted to know the status of the downtown McAllen, and we didn't wanna spend a bunch of money until we knew where we were with McAllen. We talked about that 2 meetings ago, maybe?
Well, the last time we spoke about it, according to the notes, the assistant city administrator was going to provide pricing and get bids. And
It should be in that
that was
packet,
3
right?
meetings ago. It is in that
Yeah, the
packet.
prices are in that packet that he gave us. In our meeting, yeah, we just got them. I'll have to go back.
I don't have any pricing on,
I don't have it either.
In that packet of all the signs, they had prices on it.
well, I think he had estimates on them, but he had,
Yeah, but that's all you're gonna
We were gonna select certain signs to go actually.
that's it. We were gonna select certain signs that had nothing to do with McAllen. Those signs that we were choosing were not even in that area, actually.
Right, but it wasn't about placing the signs there, it was about the cost, because the cost that he kicked us back was a lot more than we had originally thought they were
Right.
gonna be.
But he hadn't done any due diligence. All he had done was put estimates from the company who actually gave us the
Okay.
rendering, so.
That came from the company, those
Yeah,
estimates.
yeah, we don't have anything from the sign company. We just have something from the company that made.
And maybe we just need to do small, I don't know what signs you're talking about, but we just need to do smaller
Well, just-
signs.
We talked
wait.
about the big one, and then,
Yeah,
one
when you're
that-
talking monuments though,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah,
monuments
but
sign.
we talked about maybe getting the library sign up and some other wayfinding
A couple of
stuff.
the main ones.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just not that big a deal, and I just don't know in other words, we never received the information back to be able to make a decision. That's where we're at. That's all I know, and so I don't know who's responsible for that, but, I mean.
I thought Gary was
Well,
managing that, so.
well, it was Gary, then it was Dave, and then it was Gary, and now there's neither. So either we need to look at it and decide. I know everybody here is fairly new in their position, so do we want to, I mean, kind of like what I did with the graphics, I just took it on because
Absolutely.
nobody was taking anything on,
So do we have a list? We just need to provide somebody with a list, because we're gonna need bids.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
Pick the signs that we want.
right.
Go get the bids from whatever, 2, 3 sign companies.
Right. Well, it's going to be another month before we pick the signs, if we don't pick the signs pretty soon. So can we pick the signs that we kind of are leaning towards?
I think.
I thought we already did.
I thought we did too. I thought we
That's
agreed
why
on
we
color.
talked
Okay.
about the big one
Everything else.
coming in, then you said like the library sign, the main ones, and then we catch some of the other ones later.
So going back to what you're saying, 2 meetings ago, we had no minutes, okay? So I said, where are the minutes, because we've already chosen the signs we want to try to push forward. Did you get a bid on it? No, we haven't got any bids. Okay, then the last meeting, no minutes. So I don't even, it's been so long, at least 3 months, maybe 4, since we even talked about it or agreed to it. We'd have to go back and find what signs we agreed to and then give them to somebody on the city, I would think on the admin side of the city to get right, because we wouldn't do that.
I don't know, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Tilly, but signs kind of fall in with our planning, zoning, and ordinances, okay? So, maybe Ms.
Tilly, I don't know who to go to, basically.
Well,
Well, I have a question about the signs.
Okay.
The placement of the signs, and then did those signs all follow what our ordinance states, the look and design in the historic district? Because I assume some of those signs were going in the historic district. Did it go through P&Z, because they do review historic signs?
Of course.
Or signs that would be in the historic district. And then again, where those signs were going to be placed. Were they going to be placed on private property, on city property? I'm sure not the right of way, because that's TxDOT. So I guess there's just some questions.
You have a lot of questions. How about this? Can we go back and find that deck that had all of the information on it?
Just the packet?
Yes.
Yeah, it's in our,
It's in our back.
it's in our note.
It's in our notes somewhere, I
Well,
know.
if you just go back to our previous agendas, it's there.
Yeah, so,
have you found any information
I have not.
on these signs?
Yeah, we had a whole presentation on it.
yeah, we've already, it's fully baked. I mean, we're done.
the criteria. I'm
It's in
sure
my
there's
email if I need to
criteria will have
pull
to
it
get
up.
changed.
Chief, you got something?
Yeah, we've been looking for the information on the wayside, on the finding signs, because Tilly came to me today with that question there. And we need to find that information because we knew at some point you didn't want to get them all, you wanted them in certain places. So it's a part of.
I'll take care of it.
Private property. So if we can get that, then
Yeah.
we can kind of start over to see.
All right.
What we need then.
I want to say it's in our, like,
It's in
3 meetings ago, it's in our agenda.
yeah, we had the whole packet, yeah.
Right.
I'll forward it to you, Chief, I'll forward it to Tilly. Is that okay?
I think I have it downloaded too, so.
Yeah, it's a beautiful presentation. We've already, and the discussion notes, we'll find those. We'll
If
get,
we
we'll
need to
get,
go through P and Z, I don't think we do, but we do, we can just,
If it's in the historic district.
We had a
I guess I
workshop.
don't remember the.
yeah, we had a
We had a
workshop.
workshop with P and Z.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, we've already done it. We've, pretty much. But I mean, things do change. I know that these ordinances are kind of a little bit fluid right now, so why don't we do this? Let's just get it to you and let you catch you up to speed. We're kind of having to do this on a lot of things right now. And then, once you've had a chance to review it, you guys all come together and go, yeah, we can do this, we can't do that, or maybe we should wait till the ordinance. Whatever you tell us, we're okay with that. But we just wanted to push it along since we had already budgeted and agreed to it, so.
We know
Carol,
what we
didn't
want.
we
just
vote
gotta
on this? Didn't we vote to accept the sign design?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
I thought we did.
Yeah.
Right. So the ordinance will have to be,
Yeah,
around, huh?
all right, so Tilly, my action item here is to send you and the chief notes. I'll copy you as well, Ruby, if it's okay, and so we got everybody in the loop. And then I'll send the deck as well as, if I can locate the minutes of the meeting where we agreed, I'll dig into that too and send you copies of all that, okay? We'll get everybody back up to speed again. All right, signs, got it. Any other questions, Carol, are you okay? Okay. All right, let's jump to discussion of the progress of retail strategies. They're collaborating with us on the MEDC and the city. Does anybody want to take that, or do you want me to share what I know? Yes? No?
It says
Okay.
you're going.
Oh, I'm the one that's supposed to come up with something? Okay.
Yeah.
Me? Okay.
That's a
Well, all right, so the last we met on November the 11th, I believe, we had a stakeholders meeting. Everybody came together, lots of the downtown businesses came in, and we had a wonderful presentation on what the new cityscape might look like. It was... this is after they had done several surveys throughout businesses in downtown. Of course, a lot of us received those and filled them out, and this is just downtown. It doesn't have anything to do with the retail part of their strategies, retail strategies. It has more to do with the downtown revitalization and reskinning, for lack of a better term, just updating the downtown streetscapes. It was determined that they took in all the information from everybody that was in the stakeholders meeting, along with the surveys, and I took Jeremy, who was with Retail Strategies, to every business in downtown, introduced him, showed him their shops, their outsides, their insides, let him meet the various people that were there. I didn't get to all of them, but we got to most of them. And he loves the downtown community. He wants to keep it exactly, they want to keep it the way we want to keep it, which is historic and a wonderful hometown feel. Second to that, we lost our connections, obviously, with the city administrator and assistant city administrator no longer with us, so they weren't able to get a hold of anybody except for me, and they couldn't really get to me because our software, Barracuda software, was keeping the emails from coming through to Chief and to Ruby and to myself and others, and so I've got it at least remedied for me. I don't know about you guys yet, but supposedly, I think Diana's going to help us get the connection made so that they can send emails to us. Anyway, they have what a platform, a planning project platform, and it's called Basecamp. And so I've looked on Basecamp, all of our documents are there, thank you. Everything that we've agreed to and talked about is there, and it looks like we have a meeting possibly scheduled for January. They sent out a question for Chief as well as Ruby and myself to come together, and they're going to present what they believe will be the path forward based on everything they've taken in. Does that make sense? So once we get that next meeting scheduled, then we should be able, hopefully, it'll be prior to our next EDC meeting, to be able to come back and give you guys something that's really robust, that showcases what they've come up with so far. Already, they've done a great job. The one thing I can tell you, and you might it wasn't in the deck, the EDC deck, but they have a redacted. They've reached out to several large companies in the area. I have the unredacted version. I don't know how I got that, but they can't just open it up for the public, evidently, just yet. Of companies who they've been talking to, we're talking about retail operations, businesses who have an interest in doing business in Montgomery. They shared it with Gary and with others. Do you have that, Chief? Do you have that unredacted version? Okay. I'll get that to you so that you can see who has interest in coming in.
Call Out is an app that identifies unknown numbers and blocks all spam calls and spam messages. You can...
That too.
Thank you, Ernest.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna put you up there.
All right, so Chief, I'll get that over to you, and then you can share it with whoever you believe needs to see it, and then we can, at least you'll be in the know about what is bringing you up to speed on what's been, the businesses are highly interested in our community. It's pretty remarkable, to be honest with you. There's a lot of really high-profile companies, retail, restaurants, other types of businesses are extraordinarily interested in working with the city of Montgomery. They're following on the footsteps of the likes of Lupe Tortilla, Home Depot, we have HEB, we have others that are coming in. It's going to be, but we want certain businesses and some businesses not so much. So we have to be very fastidious and careful about making sure that our planning committee and our rules are in place so that we don't just allow any types of businesses, and we don't want to give them unrealistic expectations.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's good. So KKC, when we had that last Monday, they said they would reach out to retail strategies. Is that right? Okay.
Yes, they should.
So hopefully they'll work together with their new streetscape and the ordinances and come up with a plan so they're not
Yeah, it's nice
in
that,
conflict.
right, it's nice they're working together. And I believe that, but I think I just need to get some folks up to speed that maybe, thankfully I had been brought in early, so it was good because I have some of the stuff, but do get Barracuda to release at least Chief and Ruby so that they can get up to speed. Okay. Every time I've tried to forward something to you guys, it kicks it back, even if I send it from a different email. I can't send you anything with the word retail strategies on it. So, anyway, that's don't know how that happened, but that's where we're at. Overall, I'm very comfortable with the direction that they're going, and I can't wait to present what they've come up with so far. And by the way, the businesses that were there in attendance, I've already visited them post-meeting, and like the new art gallery, we've got him changing his name to Montgomery Art Gallery. He wanted to change his name. It was Lone Star, now it's going to be Montgomery. They may be repainting, possibly, updating their paint color from jazzy blue to a different color that's a little bit maybe more in line with a really upscale art gallery. It's a beautiful space. If you haven't been in there, you got to go check out the art gallery. Tony and his wife Jackie have done a phenomenal job over there. So some of the businesses that were there are super engaged and ready to go. So I think we got a lot of good momentum. Everybody there walked out with a smile on their face. Even Rindy from Rancher's Daughter was there. And so hopefully there'll be more momentum as we start to show progress. Sound good? Ready, set, break, okay. That's all I have.
Do you have the date on that meeting? Like what date?
November.
In January?
In January, no, I've already said I'm available, but they're waiting, they got to get.
Is it like a group, like a workshop again?
No, I think it's just for them to kind of bring everybody up to speed and make sure that and to highlight the items that they've come up with so far.
Who's everybody?
The city administrators, the administrator and the city secretary, yeah. And then myself, and that's because I was scored at the point for that, but.
I was just curious what kind of meeting that was. But.
Yeah, it's just a recap meeting, I believe. But they offered a bunch of different times and dates, and you just pick which one you're available. I told them I'm available for all of them. Any other questions regarding retail strategies? No? Okay. All right, and then now, discussion of the finance report, and is that going to be Mary Ann? Yes?
Sorry, I did not have it ready in time for the packet last week, but you have a copy in your hands.
Yep.
This gets you from October 1st through the end of November, so it's reporting on 2 months. Don't have anything of alarm to point out or anything like that. Everything is trucking along. We're still working to get last fiscal year closed out. We've had to upload a whole bunch of things for interim audit, and our annual audit will be taking place at the end of January. So it'll be March before I have the closing information from last fiscal, but nothing alarming for y'all.
Marion, can I ask you, I know we talked about this a little bit, about the trick-or-treat candy and actually writing checks, getting 1099s, things like that. Is it possible, can the city purchase gift cards or purchase the candy?
City cannot purchase gift cards. The city could potentially purchase candy to do a donation. It would be the city-sponsored candy, and you would donate that out through the vendors. That is a potential option. I know there's been some pushback on giving us the W-9s, just to fill you all in as to why we asked for that.
I don't know why I said Tina, I'm sorry, W-9.
Well, it would be to issue a 1099 if you got to that $600 threshold. Totally understand, you're probably not getting to that $600 threshold.
Right.
As a governmental entity, we are talking about government funds that we are passing out.
Right.
We have to do our due diligence to make sure that the person receiving those funds is eligible to receive those funds.
Makes sense, yeah.
So that's the only reason we ask for it.
See, it's different
You are
with
not
government,
able
yeah. I mean, 501c3 could just issue a gift card, but a government agency cannot.
We cannot use government funds in that manner. And these are public funds.
Yeah.
And so I have to make sure that you have a legal status with the IRS to
Right.
be able for me to give government funds to you.
So rather than
Whether it's a penny.
sort of try to traverse that hurdle, which seems to be a problem every year, maybe we just purchase the candy if that's okay?
So it potentially is. I can ask legal for you, but based on the fact that you do events under the way that y'all are organized, this would be a part of that event, and you would be contributing to that event.
Okay.
So I believe that it is an okay thing. Actually, Patty and I had talked about that last year as a possibility to get over that hurdle, because I know there's apparently this great concern with giving the city the information that's required to give you a public.
As if you couldn't get it anyway. That's what's funny.
Never trust the government.
Stephanie and I just talked about maybe an alternative way to try to get to the end game so that everybody, and we might get more participation that way too. You know?
It's like that for the Light Up the Park too, all the winners, 9 of them.
Right.
The event, W-9 signed and.
Yeah, if you're giving out a cash prize, it's, yes.
So you'd have to give something other than a cash prize. You can, no gift card or anything like that.
So what if you had sponsors that were giving these gifts?
That would be
And you say, okay,
fantastic.
yes, so, I mean, I
That
don't
would
see
be
why businesses,
fantastic.
I mean, nothing like getting your name on somebody's pretty pole, you know, and advertising to the
Yeah, maybe-
sponsor of that one.
Especially with the parade, because that's one of the things with registration, these schools, these associates, they don't have $25. I mean, they don't have funds, you know, for the cheer and that. So they have to get sponsors to do that.
Maybe we go that route, because you know what, I think sponsors probably might even pony up a little more.
Well, moving forward in 2025, when I have an opportunity to kind of look at all the events and the budget and everything, I would like to get with the chief and find out who the city does business with, like who has our contracts. Those are your big sponsors. There's no reason why Waste Management should not be sponsoring thousands of dollars every year.
Yeah. And they're very good about community outreach too, so I think.
And it just has to be, you know, written out where you have title sponsor or presenting sponsor, and then your gold, your bronze, and your silver. That way, your EDC could be for, you know, infrastructure or whatever it may be, beautification. Whereas the events run off of their sponsorships. So
I think so.
it's part of the plan.
Okay.
Yeah, people are doing, our event this weekend, we had over $100,000 donated to businesses. It was a big event.
I just couldn't imagine a
Well, the
business that
budget is in
would
October,
give
so
$25 to
can't.
sponsor something.
Yeah, it's a little too late this year, but everyone budgets next October for 2026. Unless someone has leftover, you know, funds that they don't need or, you know, that they have to donate, so. But yeah, I mean, that's a big possibility, and that's one way we grow our events. We add value. I mean, when you have a $20,000 sponsor for the parade, you can do big things.
Yes.
Well, and also we patronize the sponsors. In other words, we do business.
Well, let me, that's true. The other thing is, like Arnett was saying at Winter Wonderland, they had a loop over the loudspeakers. The music was playing, but every so often, very well done professional voiceover. We'd like to thank our sponsors, you know, I don't know who they were but at the time, but so-and-so who was very generous in providing all your carnival rides today. Thank you. And then they'd go along and then another sponsor would pop up. But you could hear them wherever you were, and I don't know, how many acres is that, Fellowship? How many acres?
30 acres.
30 acres. You could hear them wherever you were in it.
Speakers. Yeah, I have Kevin, our announcer, announce our sponsors at all of our events, but I have to be able to give some, their ROI, you know, what are they going to get in return? Usually it's like real estate, you know, the bigger the logo, the more they like it, you know, the bigger the money that they pay. So if we put their logo on our website or social media, but then again, all that has to be correct before we start doing sponsorships, because you have to make sure you do what you say in that agreement.
So you remember what we talked about when we met about maybe having, like for instance, the parade where we would have like an LED wall similar to what they had at Fellowship, and you would have speakers and you would have snow, and I mean you could do fireworks with $20,000. You could do a lot. So you'd be able to put their logos, their names, their sponsors continually announcing throughout the parade. I mean that's a big deal to a lot of people. And then you give them placements throughout, like Waste Management trash cans, the disposable ones, all over the place. So the garbage just picks them up, and they don't, but things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely a lot of potential. I mean, this is a great community, and the town just really comes together. It's just really amazing to see the involvement of the community. And I think the sponsorships would be great. We just need to, put together the packages and what levels, and I think it's great.
Well, that's not something you're unfamiliar with, so, right? Just another day in the life. Okay, well, we'll get moving along.
I'm from a nonprofit, so I had to raise all of my money before the event.
I knew we liked you for some reason.
It's great. I'm great people, but it really is. And people, businesses, they want to see their logo.
Yeah.
They have this budgeted for the community.
Right.
For community involvement. So. Yeah.
All right, Marianne, thank you for getting this report to us. I appreciate that. And our treasurer, do you have any comments on our financial report? No. I think we need to vote to approve it, though. Can I have a motion to approve is it even on here? Yes, it is.
No, Number 8.
It's just discussion.
Discussion, but
Discussion.
don't you have to accept it?
No,
Oh, if it's a discussion item, then no, okay. All right. You'd think after 4 years I'd know these things, right? All right, so then we will move on to, I believe it's, well, there is just one consideration, and that is the possible action and recommendation to City Council to reappoint the expiring term members to the MEDC Board for 2 years. And so, how many,
I'm not up, I got another year.
how many candidates do we have this year? You're up, I believe.
Yeah, I think, I was losing track of that.
I know.
It's already back up.
Let me read off the names. Arnett Easley, Carol Langley, Ryan Lundeen, and myself are all up to expire at the end of December.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yes, so it's Jeff Angelo, Arnett Easley, Carol Langley, and Ryan Lundeen.
What do we do, just recommend ourselves?
Well, the question is, if you want, do y'all want to continue
Yeah,
to serve?
Yeah, and Carol's already indicated, Arnett has too, so everyone wants to continue to serve, so it's just a matter of bringing it to city council and seeing if they like us enough to keep us.
Need to make a motion on that?
yes.
Yeah, we have to make a motion on that. So Dan, why don't you make the motion since you're the only guy that's not up? Well, Casey can second it.
Yeah, I'll second it.
I'll make a motion that we consider the
Right here.
board members for 2 years. Here we go. Consideration possible action, let's see here, to consider for 2 more years. Jeff Angelo, Arnett Easley, Carol Langley, and Ryan Lundeen to bring to city council.
I second that motion.
So it's been motioned and seconded, a motion by Dan Walker and seconded by Casey Olson, that there will be consideration and possible action on the recommendation to City Council to reappoint the expiring term members to the MEDC Board for an additional 2 years. This is amendable, debatable, but requires a majority of vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? So the ayes carry it, and we will see where that goes. Maybe perhaps the next meeting. When is the next city council meeting? Does it come?
January 14th.
Okay, 14th, okay. I'm glad you read these things. Thank you.
So you'll be expired for 14 days.
Oh, my goodness. You're not hearing this, Chief, but I went a ways with my car sticker. It was expired. It drove me crazy, though, because you know how that is. Anyway, I think we're just about done here. What do you say? So can I have a motion to...
Board inquiry?
You got
Oh, board inquiries, yes.
I don't have any.
Nothing? Don't you have any? No board inquiries? No? Okay. So,
I make a motion to adjourn the
adjourn.
meeting.
Second?
it's been motioned by Carol Langley and seconded by everybody? No. Seconded by Ryan Lundeen that we adjourn tonight's meeting. All those it's amendable, debatable, requires a majority vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. This meeting's adjourned.
7:17.
Pardon?
7:17.
Yes,
Thank you, thank you.
thank you.
Well, thanks to everybody. Thank you, Tilly. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Mary Ann. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, everybody, for coming.